I'm Dimitris Bakalis. I have been in Athos visited Athos more than 100 times. And I'm blessed that this happened to me. And I'm blessed that I visited Athos in that way. I walking on the footpaths. That for me, it's the best way to approach this holy land and to be ready to deliver what the monasteries will give you at the end of the day. To have this, to attend all these services and during the night or during the evening. So I think I want to invite Mr. Diamandis, who is a former research director, Forest Research Institute, to give his speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. I'm sorry that I have to give my presentation sitting. It is technically impossible to stand at the podium there. Landscape, flora, fauna, and fungal diversity of the peninsula of Mount Athos. Yanni? Okay. Mount Athos, or the Holy Mountain, is the second most important religious place of pilgrimage after Jerusalem, while being generally considered as a haven of nature and called the Garden of the Virgin Mary. According to the legend, the Virgin Mary, who was sailing and carried by the sea to Athos and walked ashore, was overwhelmed by the wonderful and wild natural beauty of the mountain, blessed it, and asked her son for it to be her garden. Then a voice was heard saying, "Let this place be your inheritance and your garden, a paradise and a haven of salvation for those seeking to be saved." Today, there are 20 holy monasteries along the peninsula, representing the main Orthodox countries, Greece, Bulgaria, Serbia, Russia and Ukraine, and Romania, the oldest monastery of Megisti Lavra having been founded in 963. I have a few photographs of monasteries. This is the Agίου monastery from the sea, and the Russian monastery, St. Panteleimon, again from the sea, Simonos Petros, one of the most impressive monasteries, and Philotheu Monastery. I cannot show you all of them because there are 20. For its over 1,000-year continuous sacred history and culture, Mount Athos has been designated as an international UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1988. Its importance as a hotspot for biodiversity in Europe was recognized recently too, when it was designated as a special area of conservation and special protected area. Geography. The Athos Peninsula is the northernmost of the three peninsulas of the landform of Chalkidiki, with a direction northwest to southeast. Its southeastern edge, Cape Akrathos, stands at the center of the northern Aegean Sea. The length of the peninsula, from its border near the town of Uranoupoli to Akrathos, is about 40 kilometers, whereas its area is 33 square kilometers. In general, the relief is gently mountainous, with the exception of Mount Athos, with its peak rising to 2,033 meters. There is a spiny ridge which runs from northwest to southeast, and in its first 20 kilometers rises from 490 meters from the border, near the border, to just 660 meters near Carriès. From there, it abruptly rises to 1,042 meters, the Anti-Athos Peak, and finally to the majestic Athos Peak, which you can see here in winter, covered with snow. Geology. The Athos Peninsula has distinctly different geology from the other two nearby peninsulas of Chalkidiki. Its northern and central parts belong to the Serbo-Macedonian Massif, and its southern part, including Mount Athos itself, belongs to the Circum-Rhodope Belt, similar to the Sithonia Peninsula. The bedrocks of the Athos Peninsula are mainly metamorphic, such as gneiss, schists, amphibolites, and marbles. Mount Athos consists of marble and recrystallized limestone. Weather and microclimate. The unique geomorphology, in combination with the prevailing northeast winds, seems to have shaped another distinct feature of the natural environment of Pathos, its microclimate. Like the topography, the microclimate diverges from the characteristic Mediterranean in the northern part and gradually gains several characteristics of the continental climate to the south, where the Athos mountain is located. These characteristics result from the combined effects of the height of the mountain, the humidity coming from the sea, and the prevailing northeast winds. These winds, as in other parts of Greece, transfer humidity from the sea to the land, resulting in a more humid climate at the northeastern part of the peninsula. Flora. According to Professor Duffy's 1993 and Professor Athanasiadis' 1998, due to the geomorphology of the Holy Mountain, all 5 main vegetation zones of Greece exist here, just in such a small area, 33 square kilometers. From those three are forest vegetation zones, the Euro-Mediterranean, the Sub-Mediterranean, and the Fagitalia zone of beach. This latter zone appears in a few locations at the northwest slopes of Mount Athos. Elements of the zone of subalpine cold-resistant conifers can also be met in the isolated locations of Mount Athos, and finally, ecosystems of the alpine and subalpine Mediterranean zone cover Mount Athos above the tree line, above 1,500 meters. The zone of evergreen sclerophyllous vegetation of the peninsula is typically found up to 500 meters above sea level and in locations such as the driest and south-facing slopes of Mount Athos. The main tree species here are Aleppo pine. This is the Pinus halepensis. Really, it's the pine that we meet everywhere in Greece, and a mixture of sclerophyllous plants. You will see such a ecosystem here in this slide. Very dense ecosystem, very dense vegetation. And here is the pine forest, beautiful pine forests. Without any doubt, the flora is the most remarkable feature of the Holy Mountain. The peninsula hosts 1,453 taxa, belonging to 534 genera and 107 families. The wealth is the result of the unique geography and land use history. The peninsula is isolated from mainland Greece and at the same time is located on the fringe of 4 floristic regions, the Mediterranean, the Balkan, and the regions of Central and Southeast Europe. This remarkable flora has escaped intensive land exploitation for at least 1,000 years, especially exploitation by grazing domestic animals, and more specifically goats, a rare exemption for the Mediterranean basin. Most important are the endemic plants of Mount Athos. Many from the 14 local and the 43 Greek endemic species are found at the southern side of the mountain facing the Aegean Sea. A few which grow in places with the frequent presence of pilgrims could be threatened. We don't have more detailed information about that, but we're looking at that point. There are also some coastal endemics. When forest management is not intensive, spectacular mixed stands are formed with sweet chestnuts, Castanea sativa, beech, black pine, fir, and lime, Eurasian aspen also, Populus tremula. This particular zone hosts the copious chestnut forests of Mount Athos, which are famous for their productivity and wood quality. Here you see a nice overview of the chestnut forest, beautiful chestnut forest. Here in winter, chestnut copy stands 17 years old at Iviron Monastery. And here you see some of the products of the sawmills, of the local sawmills in Mount Athos. As in other parts of Europe, chestnut was introduced, and historical data confirm that in the past it formed mixed stands with oak, beech, fir, and pines. Some remnants of these forests still exist, especially at the southwest of the peninsula. Today, after several decades of coppicing, chestnut forests dominate the landscape of these altitudes, forming almost pure chestnut stands. Many such magnificent chestnut trees were felled in the second half of the 20th century, when the natural mixed forests were converted to pure chestnut coppice forest. At higher altitude, the forests are more or less mixed, and they are considered to be more representative of the primitive forest of the peninsula. There are mixed stands of hybrid fir, Abies boryzirhegis, variety pseudosilicica, a unique variety only found here and considered to be a separate species by Professor Daffis. Black pine and other species of this vegetation zone can be found up to the tree line. Here you see the snowdrop in winter, one of the early blooming plants, strawberry tree, Arbutus unido in blossom, and a few other plants. There are too many to show you more pictures, and I don't have time, I'm sorry. Fungal diversity of the peninsula of Mount Athos. All naturalists and researchers who have visited or worked in Mount Athos have exclusively studied the flora and the fauna of the peninsula, but not the fungi. The fungi are the third large kingdom in nature. According to existing recent information, though, fungal diversity in the peninsula of Mount Athos can be characterized as exceptional, as it contains several rare and endemic species. In 1988, the presence of Cryphonectria parasitica, the devastating pathogen which causes chestnut blight, was diagnosed for the first time. For 2 decades, 1980 up to 2000, the precious and unique chestnut forests, which cover about 7,000 hectares of land of the peninsula, were in danger of being lost due to the rapid spread of the disease. A successful project was implemented in 1998 to 2000 in 3 years, using hypovirulence for biological control of the pathogen. We introduced 450,000 inocula in Mount Athos. Today, the health and structure of the coppice chestnut forests has been restored. The new problem that now concerns the scientists is the entrance of another destructive fungus, Seiridium cardinale, which causes the disease known as cypress canker. The cypress tree, the pyramidalis form, has been closely associated with Athonite landscape and orthodoxy throughout history. An outbreak is expected in the next few years if measures are not taken immediately. And I mean that. Here you see just a few cypress trees, beautiful cypress trees, and the majestic tree in the Philotheo monastery just outside the main church. More than 600 species of fungi have been recorded in Mount Athos to the day, but it is certain that there are many more to be found. The fungi of the peninsula of Mount Athos are undoubtedly an exceptionally interesting kingdom of organisms, which unfortunately has not been sufficiently investigated. The contribution of fungi to the natural balance of the unique forest of Mount Athos is crucial, although silent and invisible. There is a complete absence of commercial mushroom picking and minimal human impact on the natural ecosystems. It is fortunate, therefore, that the peninsula of Mount Athos offers a secure habitat to the biodiversity in general and the fungal biodiversity in particular, as it is a protected area listed in the network of Nature 2000 sites and is also under the auspices of UNESCO. The need for a project to further study the fungi of Mount Athos is imperative. Well, just a few nice pictures of mushrooms to see the colors, the shapes. All these species are secure in Mount Athos, although they are picked mercilessly in the rest of the country for commercial reasons. Here you see the earth star and a beautiful puffball and more wood decay fungi. And this is a fungus which is picked everywhere in the country. People call it little lamb, arnaki. And another one with a beautiful blue color. And these are the morels that grow in spring. This is a very rare species. It was found just once in Mount Athos outside the monastery of Simonos Petras. And another rare fungus which grows in the burrs of the chestnuts. And here is Clathrus ruber, a very impressive little fungus. And I continue with fauna. The exceptional diversity of geology, microclimate, vegetation, flora, and fungi in such a small area is expected to also attract the attention of zoologists. However, the research on its fauna, the biodiversity, is surprisingly far from extensive or complete. Therefore, animal biodiversity is probably highly underestimated, referring only to 173 bird species, 41 mammals, 14 reptiles, and 8 species of amphibians, while most importantly, detailed information about distribution, specific habitat requirements, especially concerning human impact and recent changes in land use trends, is lacking. We don't have that information. Marine biodiversity, especially important worldwide, is the sea surrounding the mountain for marine mammals, as 10 species of marine mammals have been recorded in the sea around Athos so far, while 8 of them are permanently found in the area. These species are the common bottlenose dolphin, the endangered common dolphin, the striped dolphin, the Risco dolphin, the Black Sea harbor porpoise, Cuvier's beaked whale, and the sperm whale. Here you see just 2 of them. There are too many to show you all of them, the common dolphin and the Physityras, the sperm whale. Almost all pilgrims traveling to Mount Athos see these dolphins along the voyage following the ship. The international recognition of Athos as an ark for European biodiversity is confirmed only recently. Its designation as a special protected area of Nature 2000, Nature Conservation Network of the European Union, was based on its importance for specific marine bird species, focused especially in the Mediterranean endemic Yelpuan shearwater, which are a common sightseeing in specific time periods. The species has been classified as vulnerable in the Global Red List and the European Union Red List of Birds. Monitoring data confirms that these species are also several Manx shearwaters congregate here, coming all the way up north from the several colonies in the northern and potentially central Aegean Sea. Here you see the Yelkwan shearwater, which is an endangered species, the one in the corner up there, and the Manx shearwaters. Mainland Athos Peninsula is likewise important for avifauna biodiversity and its conservation. An atlas about the Athos Peninsula revealed 204 species, including those observed in the open sea and passing migrants. Athos seems to be especially important when considering raptors, which, among others, were the focus of the evaluation of the area as a specific protected area. At least 2 pairs of both Bonelli eagles and golden eagle have been confirmed breeding in the South Tip, where the most inaccessible areas, adequate rocky habitats, and available prey exist. And coming to the conclusions, the Athos Peninsula is unique worldwide, capturing the interest and the imagination of many naturalists who have been walking for days in its shady, stone-made calderimi trails, exploring its magnificent natural and spiritual landscape. Being a mixture of a highly diverse and rich natural environment, with its particular cultural evolution following its own distinctive worldwide legal status and rules for centuries, Holy Mountain is an exceptional landscape. As expressed, Holy Mountain is neither stable nor neglecting the historical events, science, and modernization, but always under the principle of thrifty use of natural and human resources. This is the mentality of the monks and the Mount Athos life. After almost 2 centuries of comprehensive research on the flora and vegetation, it is now time for research to focus on the fauna and the fungi, as it is expressed that expected that systemic research will bring more endemic and highly endangered species to light. In conclusion, the Holy Mountain Athos Peninsula should be considered as an exceptionally important site of universal value that must be properly preserved and highlighted as a worldwide natural heritage site, a UNESCO site, and as an ark of Mediterranean biodiversity. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
On the footpaths of Mount Athos, it's very important that we take only a small understanding of all this diversity that exists, and even that you are so surprised and feel your soul with this beauty offered by God. Thank you very much. Although there will be a session at the end when we can discuss. If you want to raise a question right now, we can do it. Αν μπορεί να κάνει κάποιος μια ερώτηση. Αυτό είπα. If you want to ask something, otherwise there is a session at the end when we can make it further discussion. So if nobody has a question, we will continue. Thank you very much again. And